Welcome to the channel, My Sim World. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today, I am starting to play Paralives. And I've always been a big builder in The Sims. That's mainly what I like to do, not the gameplay. But I will have some gameplay videos for this one. But mainly I'm interested in this video, how to build, how easy is it? And we're going to test that out right here, right now. So let's get started. Welcome to Milano. This is the town that the Paralives will start in. And you start out on the train, which I think is really, really cool. You start out on the train, you create your sim, you move them into whatever world they're going to be living in. And I think this is so cool the way they set it up. I mean, you don't just plop down into a world at the house. You actually have the travel necessary. So I started out with a guy para. So, and I wanted to give him a wife, but you right now cannot assign relationships in the Paramaker, so that's fine. I didn't think about it at the time, but we went into Milano, Malino, I'm saying it wrong, Malino. And I picked a lot for them, a small lot after looking at several. And they started out with 30,000 para money, whatever that's going to be called. Haven't looked at it, don't really care. So I decided I'm just going to build them a little, a little house on this lot. And everything seemed to work really well. I only had an issue with the camera movement, and that's because I think the camera is a lot like the camera in the Sims 4 game, but I never used the Sims 4 camera because I hated it. I always used the Sims 3 camera option, and now I don't have that choice, so I'm having to learn how to use the camera. So forgive any of the jerky moments, but I absolutely loved building this little house for them. Everything was so easy. The basic floor does not come in as concrete, it comes in as wood. Ooh, who knew? You also want to make sure that you stick around to the end of the video, because I will have my first Paralives AI music video at the end of this. So stick around and see what I played around with. It's not a big deal, but I thought it was cute and I liked the song. Putting the doors in, changing the colors, I'm playing with all of that stuff. I had a really good time. Now, I did encounter a bit of a moment painting the walls, because I'm not sure exactly what I was doing, but I wasn't doing it right. But once I got it figured out, everything worked out fine. But I installed windows and I changed the color of the frame. So, and don't ask me why I picked blue. Blue is not my favorite color, but I chose blue and it seems like it works well in this house. Kind of had a blue theme going on. Initially I wanted to have a blue wall, but then I decided, since I'm going to do a lot of accents in blue, let's just keep it simple and do like a beige creamy color. Now, I was freaked out by the shadow on the wall. I kept going, what the hell is that? Where did that come from? Why is that? There's not supposed to be a picture on that wall. And then I figured out it's the shadow coming through, I guess, the open roof. Which means there's a lot of detail that is in the game, so you can see that. And I think it was really cool how they did it. But anyways, you can see I put cabinets in, I changed the colors of the cabinet, and I love that you can change the top from something different. The hardware can be changed colors, and of course the cabinetry itself. Now, I did have a little bit of a trouble spot with the upper cabinets, because I thought you could shrink them to the size that would fit above the refrigerator, because I wanted to put a short one over the sink that I'm going to put on that wall right there, and one over the fridge, and I couldn't get it to work. So it might be a me thing, it might be a it's not working yet thing, but I worked around it, and I think our first kitchen came out good. I changed the color of the stove to try and match the fridge. And I love the doors because they are recessed into the frame, which looks really cool from the outside of the door. I put kind of a long table in, and then later on, you'll see that I reduced the size of the table. It's just two of them. They don't need a 6-seater table. They don't even know anybody in town yet. I had a lot of fun playing with the color wheel. One of the things that I missed very much about Sims 3, I understand that it was probably super cumbersome on a lot of machines and difficult to maintain, but they fixed that up. In here, it is, my game was flying by. It saves in a matter of seconds. It opens scenes in a matter of seconds. It's not overly cumbersome, but yes, I know it has limited stuff in it. Early release, and I'm going to keep using that word to make sure you guys understand. Early release means things are not complete. Okay? So I put towel in the bathroom, a toilet in the sink, and that's a half bath downstairs. Placing the furniture is pretty easy. And I love that you can change the texture and the colors. And I kept playing around with them until I just decided I didn't want to do the burgundy couch. We'd do a cream color. And then I took that same love seat and turned it into a chair for that room. Coffee table. And a little side table there. I just think this is so cool how it is set up for you to play. And I did change all of the lighting lamps so that they all matched. And I saved the basic color. I changed the rug. It took me a little bit of toying around to get the colors to come out kind of the way I wanted, because that was a little too purpley for me. And I kept playing with it until I got just the right shade of blue. I also had fun putting the paintings up on the wall. I love that they can stretch and be made bigger or smaller, that you can change the picture in the frame. That was really cool to do. And I put curtains at the windows. I had to shift the windows over a little bit so that the curtain rod didn't stick through the wall on the other side. Change the color of the curtains. And I think the living room looks pretty good. But that shadow on that wall kept freaking me out because in my head, it looked like it was part of the paint on the wall. But I finally got it right. Shifted the lights around a little bit. Love how easy it is to move stuff. Put some flowers on the table, potted plant by the window, some cushions on the sofa. And I don't think I changed the color of, yeah, I did. Okay, I did color. Changed the color of the pillows. I don't know why I made that one green of all things, but I did. So, and it doesn't look bad. It's just, I think I intended to make it red. And then here in the bathroom, you know, I was like, I want a short window. So I changed it and I love it. Came out really nice. Put a rug in the bathroom, and I had to put it in the living room in order to shrink it because it didn't want to shrink within that small space. And I did a little shuffling on the color there, I think. And here I was looking for toilet paper, and I used the search feature, typed it in, bam, came up like nothing. It was so easy to use. Love that. So right now it looks like everything is properly tagged so that if you type it in and it is in the game, it will come up. And I think right here is where, yeah, I put the clock on the wall. And I was also looking for like hanging towels, which I never found. And I didn't type those into the search. So that's not to say they're not in there, but I didn't go and actually search for them. I wanted to put the desk under the stairs, but I was afraid they might not be able to use it. So I put it by the stairs because I kind of felt like that space was a little too empty, a little too wide. And then I just put a plant under there when I found the right size, put a plant on the desk. I changed the color of the chair at the desk to match. I put the little half rug in front of the sink. I changed the color of that. And I added a couple more windows. So I got a little window happy in this build. And I think that's where a lot of my money went because I ran out of money fast. I'm so used to building without having to think about the price of things. So when I got upstairs, it got a little skimpy until I decided to do the gameplay. And I let them get jobs and go to work and bring home some money. And then we worked on it. Putting a roof on was super easy. Now, granted, this is a very basic house. It's a box. It's a big ass box. So it was really easy to put the roof on. But I have some ideas in my head of houses that I'd like to try and build based on things I used to do as a kid with a pen and paper. And some of the ways that I would draw these walls. I want to see if I can recreate some of that in here because I couldn't do it in The Sims, couldn't do it in inZOI. I only built one house in inZOI, to be fair, so I need to give them a little break there. But then out here I was like, okay, I need to do a little maintenance in the yard. So I played around with textures until I found what I wanted to be their walkway. And I put a couple of trees. I don't remember which trees, but I think they look cute. Then I decided we needed something on the front of this house because, you know, maybe a flower bed. And then I decided let's try the planter boxes because I don't use them very often in The Sims. But I liked it. I changed the trim on them to match the blue windows. I put some kind of vines on the side. And I didn't carry them all the way up because I didn't want to. Put the mailbox up, changed the colors. I was going to put the welcome mat, but I don't think the terrain there was smooth, and I didn't think to flatten the terrain before I built the house. So we're just going to have to deal with not having a welcome mat. Besides, we don't necessarily want to welcome people to our new home. We just moved in. Let us get used to it. And as you can see, as I was saying about the windows, I put in a lot of windows. But hey, I like natural light. You wouldn't know that if you looked around my room or the rest of the house. I have blackout curtains everywhere. Yeah, I'm a vampire. I'm usually not awake during the day. And I'm going to leave that light on. You can probably see me better that way. But I usually sit in here in the dark. I had some problems here. The cabinets were clipping through the bedroom up there. And so I shrunk them a little bit, moved them over a little bit, and then put a different vent hood on the stove to make sure that it didn't come through. And as you can see here, I picked a bed, spread it out to make it for two people, and changed the color. And then I realized they're technically not married, so they probably won't sleep in the same bed. I didn't even try it. I was just like, we got to put another bed over there. But I was not paying attention to my finances. So, we had some money issues. You'll see here in a minute, because I think I'm down to about $1,300 here in putting in this bathroom. They needed somewhere to bathe, and we couldn't afford a tub, so I gave them a shower, or at least we couldn't afford the tub I wanted. So I gave them a shower, picked some different cabinets, but then changed the colors on them as well. And as you can see from the tabs there, you can change different things. You can change the countertop from the cabinet. You can change the handles and the doors on this one. So I played around until I found a color that I was happy with, and then I changed the top color to that kind of slate gray blue that I use downstairs everywhere. And put a clock up on the wall, changed the color on it, shrunk it down a little bit. And then I started looking for the clutter to put on the bathroom. And then I realized we should probably put a sink in there first. So, and then I decided, you know what, they're supposed to be moving in. They should have boxes. And I know they were boxes. So I found the boxes, and in the spare bedroom, I stacked them up. And around about this time, I realized we're down to $107. So we can't spend any more money, because I don't know that they're going to have to pay for food to eat out of their fridge the way you do on The Sims. So I was like, let's leave them a little bit of cash. Now, I did do gameplay here, but I do come back to finish out the build once they've got a paycheck, and you'll see the para money go from 107 to 3 something when the scene switches here in just a minute. But yeah, I played around with painting walls first because that didn't cost us anything, and I liked that color for that room, and then I don't know why I thought to do it in the entire upstairs little open area, and it quickly realized, that looks crazy, let's change it. I decided to go with a kind of a creamy beige type color. And once I got the color that I wanted, that one was too dark. And then up here at the top, that one I didn't care for. That one I thought was perfect. So I used that one and changed this whole space, this hallway. And I know in The Sims that you push the shift key down and then you can do the whole room. I don't think I tried it, but they probably have different controls for that kind of thing. I just changed each one. At this point, I didn't really care. I'm just enjoying the fact that I can do all this stuff in Paralives. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you guys know that I like to create my own AI music with parasongs. In this case, parasongs. Simlish. And when I do City Skylines, I write songs about City Skylines. I've got a couple out about some of the YouTubers that I've learned from. But they're all on the channel if you want to check them out. And so I do have some songs, parasongs. I usually do those on shorts more than anything. So there will be a short released about the same time as this one. That is about playing my first para game. Haha. So I went back in the bedroom and decided those colors need to be changed too. And I like that pink that I played around with in that hallway on that one wall by the big bedroom. So I changed all of the colors in there. And I think I like the pink. And I had two thoughts of mine here, that the girl is probably going to sleep in that room. But then I was like, no, I want her to have the big room. And the dude can sleep in that room. And then I thought about changing the color of the walls in there to something a little more masculine friendly. Because some guys are offended by the color pink. And then real men know that you can wear pink if you want to. Pink is my color. This is actually more salmon. Can't tell. Anyway, so I went back into the master bedroom and put the dresser in, and that's when I really realized how broke we were. So now we were up to like 368, and I go in and finish some of this decorating. I didn't have much to do in this big bedroom or the bathroom. I literally just put a rug, I think, in the bathroom, and then later on I clutter it up. But I put window coverings in this big bedroom. I also changed the colors to match the bedding, which is black. And I put those same blinds up in the other room and also made them black. Not sure why I made them black, but I liked it. And then here I put some plants and a vase with some flowers and a nice big rug. I played around with the colors on the rug and I couldn't quite get it to do what I wanted it to do. So then I just decided, you know what, let's make it all black. And that's what I did. And ooh, look, it turned out well. Put a table and a lamp in here so that he's not in the dark. I haven't figured out how to turn the lights off in the rooms. You know how in The Sims they can walk through the room and the lights can be automatic. I haven't figured out if you can do that here. So my parents slept with their lights on and they didn't seem to mind. Hell, one of them was looking at me the whole time. She was supposed to be asleep anyway. Yeah, she was looking at me. But anyway, I decorated the hall, some paintings, some plants, a rug. And like I said, I just think this is so cool that you can change these pictures out and you can upload images too. So y'all might be seeing some Cami original art, or sorry, Simoniously original art in future games. And I wanted to do different curtains here, and I tried one and I didn't like the way they looked with the frames and the colors. So I wanted those, but I wanted them longer, so I made them longer. It is so cool. And then in here, I was like, we need something on the back of the toilet. I didn't look for shelves because I typically put shelves in the bathroom and put stuff on the shelves. But I put a picture there, shrunk the frame down to fit it. And then I started trying to find the clutter for the kitchen, for the countertop in the bathroom. And I found quite a few things that were interesting. You know, toothbrush, toothpaste, Kleenex box, some makeup remover, lotion, a towel. Then I put in the toilet cleaner wand. I wanted that to hang in the shower, but it clipped through the wall, but I left it there. And then put this in the bedroom, you know, somewhere she could store little stuff, some maxi pads, some makeup and stuff, a book, you know, basic stuff. Then sponge in the kitchen and a broom and a dustpan. And then I put some clutter on the counters. I wanted to put those bottles up, but they were too long. And if I was afraid if you try shrinking them that, you know, it'll look stupid. So I just decided, you know, maybe they don't drink. And over here on the counter by the stove, I put some chopping boards, cutting boards, mixing bowls, some mixing spoons and stuff, you know, just basic stuff. And I shrunk the table. Building up room by room, heart goes fast when it all comes true. One more lamp, one more chance. I start laughing as the colors dance. Paralives, play me loud. Build it up, tear it down. Paralives, I'm in now. Watch me make my own town. So that was my first build in Para, and I loved it, and I can't wait to build more stuff in Paralives. If you guys are playing Paralives, testing it out, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. What was the best thing for you, and what do you definitely think they need to keep working on? I will have another video probably in the next few days. that is the gameplay. It just depends on if I can get it edited and uploaded fairly quickly, because I think I've mentioned this before. I'm a writer, and I'm trying to publish a certain book that people have been waiting for on June 2nd, and this book turned out to be a lot bigger than I thought, so I got a lot of work to do in a few days, so I might not have time to do the editing. But if it's not out this week, it'll definitely be out next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you found any of this helpful, useful, fun, whatever, click that like it. Subscribe. I can't wait to show you guys. See you next time.
Yeah. First time in the setup screen, staring at my digital me. Do I copy my eyebrows? Do I go full fantasy? Skin tone matched, then I froze. Hair too close, then I said nope. I want a twin with a twist. Cute, but a little bit extra though. Will it look like me? Or the me I dream? One is real, one's fun. Which one wins for the screen? My first para, my first para. Do I make a like me? My first para. Or go wild and let her be. A little me, a little magic, a little cute, a little tragic. My first para, I can't decide, so I make three. Baby, my smile, then swap the shoes. Change the vibe like, what if blue? She's got my face in the mirror, but her whole attitude says, who are you? I keep rotating that jawline, saying that's close, then nah, that's fine. I'm out here making a legend with my first little design. Will it look like me? Or the me I dream? One is real, one's fun. Which one wins for the screen? My first para, my first para. Do I make a like me? My first para. Or go wild and let her be. A little me, a little magic, a little cute, a little tragic. My first para. I can't decide, so I make three. Maybe she gets my grin, maybe she gets that spark. Maybe she walks in style like she owns the whole damn part. I'm laughing at the screen like, girl, that's not a crime. If she ends up more me or more dream, it's still mine. My first para. Do I make a like me? My first para. Or go wild and let her be. A little me, a little magic, a little cute, a little tragic. My first para. I can't decide, so I make three.